Okay, Devils, how we doing? Happy Friday. We're going to keep this one short and sweet. There's not a lot to say crypto enthusiasts, we're kind of on lockdown here until we get a catalyst. Bitcoin hadn't really changed much. We got a little bit of a pump here. This is actually, I thought I would just use this one here. This is a count from one of my members who's become quite a skilled technician. It's just an alternate to what I've been proposing, which this can be counted as a WXY. If we're going to finish a little bit higher than would be from swing low to swing down to the 50 or golden zone here, this is a way to get it done. We could do an A, a B, and then working through a C here, so we could essentially get a 335 flat and come out of here. Reasonable, very reasonable. It's one of those spots where we're not going to really know until we see, here's his little drawing here to get us out of here. So we'd have this little diag here would get us into a 5 to give us a C of the 2, and we essentially really all we're doing is this, right? So here we're going sideways. We've been doing that for 4 or 5 months now. Easily just poke a little bit below, but we're not doing much. Kind of on lockdown here, and then I've shown this a gazillion times, but if we're gonna do something down here for a more traditional wave 2 area you'd anticipate, well then perhaps we would come back here and look at this as a WX, right? WXY. We'll see, right? There's not much to do here. Until we get, the other thing you could look at here and say, okay, well let's look at the value area. Where's my I think it's right down here, right? So we get into the value area. Let's get out of this value area here. Jeez, I know I have. God, is it way down here? Interesting, the POC's down here. Out of all that trading here, POC's down here at these lows. Again, there's not much to add here. I've been through this same count 4 or 5 months for Fridays. ETH, not much better. 1, 2, 1, 2, still alive. Same idea here, right? We've got all this. Here's the value area here, right? We're kind of poking through the lower edges here. Now here we are between the 50 and the golden zone. If this is going to hold as a 1, 2, right? So it would be 1, 2, 1, 2. Some things happening in the ETH space, and there's some things floating around about potential, particularly with Bitcoin, that FTX has got a lot of crypto to sell, right? And that would be some pretty substantial volume coming into the market. Could drive us down here to some of these. I'm particularly fond of this 21 to 22 zone here that's like saying I'm particularly fond of buying Bitcoin between the 50 and the golden zone. Pretty much of a no-brainer there that I'm going to be interested there, but we're not there yet. Let's see, right? And if this all this size is going to dump into the market, likely going to drive prices down. How much, right? Or whales buy from whales, right? Are there going to be whales down here looking to absorb that? Well, that's a hurry up and wait and see. Right? So, I think, and certainly the trading volume is reflecting just a general lack of interest in crypto at the moment, right? That's probably not going to change anytime soon until we have a catalyst, right? So, no reason to deploy new capital here. My guess is you've deployed what you intend to here, unless we get better buying opportunities below here, both for Bitcoin and ETH, right? So there's crypto enthusiasts are just going to have to be patient. Okay, let's just a little bit different here. Now, it's not a great day to be doing a lot of detailed TA on traditionals, because this is triple witching today. So a lot of the option hedging is going to be released at the end of the day today, and that should open things up next week. But I do think it's worth noting here, if we look at three of the Magnificent 7 here. We'll just do a quick peek at Apple, Microsoft, and Google, because they're all kind of teed up, and it's going to be telling to see how we come out of here. Well, here's Apple. Now, I've been playing this here. I'm in the options market here, kind of just looking for the consolidation here, and that's worked out fairly well so far, as in those trades are sitting with some nice profit. But here, this is threatening here. I was looking at this as a candidate for a triangle here, and we can see now if we're going to break lower, we're going to have to rethink this. So I would be prepared for this, right? And I am, right? I'm going to, I've got kind of I'm trying to stay delta neutral here. So I've got options on both sides of this. But we can see an alternate path here that might be telling, right? So certainly something like this is a potential candidate. We can certainly, here, let's tee it up here, so I don't make any assumptions here that everybody's following along. It's always easier when it's your chart. Okay, so we got a 5, got a 3, got what it looks like could be, right? We don't know yet. Right? We haven't. If we break that trend line, right, the idea of the triangle is going to become less and less here. You probably say if we break this low, maybe we get some sort of descending triangle here. Remains to be seen, but we can certainly see a candidate here for this to be a zigzag, right? So if we're going to go 5-3, I'd have to go down to something smaller here. Do we have it, right? There's not a great 1-2 there. Apple's probably the trickiest, right, to get a feel for this. It almost looks like here you'd be finishing something here, but it would unlikely to finish the zigzag like that. I mean, it's possible. Shit, anything's possible. But you might anticipate this more as a candidate for some sort of a 1-2 or any kickback next week. Well, that would keep the potential for the triangle alive, but we can't eliminate that possibility here. We just get a nice clean zigzag. All right, so this one, of course, everybody's going to watch that. We'll see, right? So this 171 here, I've got an option spread down here. So I'm watching this one closely. Okay, so this is one to watch here as this starts to come down, right? Well, that will likely influence the market. Now, the others that I think are a little more interesting to look at here, let's get... here I've got some other option stuff on this here. So this is Microsoft. Now I've been buying this. Right, so the idea here that we've got a 4 here, that's an awfully sharp correction. So you can see the potential for that to be relabeled, right? Let's say it that way. So if we pull back out again, let's go to a 4-hour here. Right, so here, this is what I've been playing, right? So the idea that we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going up for that 5. But if we roll over here and this 4 doesn't hold, right, you can see the perfect, oh shit, I know that's annoying. You can see the perfect channeling here. Now, if I pull this out of here. Right, it's just lovely, right? So if we come up here and get that 5, well, you'd have just a gorgeous looking impulse coming out of this here. And again, the channeling is kind of guiding my thinking, but there's certainly, if things get ugly next week for whatever reason, Fed speak, what moves the market, something like that. Now the whole idea is going to start to be a little tougher to swallow for the idea that we've still got a 5 coming. So now you'd be back here thinking, do I need to relabel this, recount this? If we peaked up here, what did we peak? Right, I would be very, very, very surprised if we've topped here in Microsoft and we're going to do something deeper. So my view would be anything, whatever we're doing is unlikely to break 210. Not impossible. Excuse me, just unlikely, but not impossible. Right. So what I'm looking for here is an opportunity to do something like this, right? So we can get the 3, 4, 5, right, and then. Right, so if we look in here, you can see I'm kind of channeling this up as well. Right, so is this a candidate here? Is this 1, 2? Right, how are we doing this? Is this A, B, C? This already, you'd have overlap here, so what are we doing? We're not quite, this is one to be, I'm kind of watching this closely here. The impulsive, corrective, impulsive, right? Kind of the same thing we're just looking at. Right, with Apple, right? Right, are we going to turn this into is this ultimately going to get relabeled as a zigzag here? Well, again, the problem with that, I say problem, as a technician, we don't want this 4 getting too far outside of that channel, right? You're going to have to disconnect the two, right? So then, which kind of drives your thinking. Wait a minute, now I'm not looking for that 4 to be way over here, or down here, right? So you might be looking here saying, oh, well, it's just a zigzag. Well, the right look starts to get challenged, right? If I've got to pull this. Oh, if I try and do it this way, right? So if I'm trying to say this is the impulse and then I'm going to try and attach this to it, I'm very reluctant to do that. So again, just from experience of trading Elliott Wave for a long time, I want to see them self-contained here. I'm already putting a sliding parallel on this. So if we start to come down here, it's time to rethink this count. So I don't have an answer. I don't have a particular trade here. I've been buying Microsoft, right? So if this pivot holds, so anything. Oh God! Anything here, right? If we come down here, as long as we hold that, that would be a reload area for me. I might sell some options down here, something like that, right? Looking for that to realize. Wait and see. So a lot of hurry up and wait. Let's see what happens next week as we get through this triple witching and all this volatility, all this option hedging gets released here. There's potential for the market to move substantially next week, right? But then we have Fed speak and the usual things that move the market. Now, last one here being Google. So this is I think is the trickiest one because you can count this multiple ways. So if we look here, this is talk about somebody getting bent over there. Somebody bought that, right? A breakout trader bought it. I talk about an unbelievable example of just grabbing liquidity before they. Oh my God, right? Or somebody who had their stop there. Oh God, that's gotta hurt to just look at it. Well, okay, the one thing we can say with certainty, right? And it's always nice to have that kind of certainty when you're looking at a chart. Can't be 1-2, right? That's the one thing we can say with certainty, right? So possibly A, B, C into a W, X, A, B, C, right? It would be so you would be finishing with A, B, C, something like that. Well, okay, right? So the implication there would be we've got our hard low here, right? But you can also count this. Since we have a new high here, I'm looking at that going, well, can I get a clear 5 here for a candidate for an A? Well, then you got to deal with, is this last drive up here in any way connected to this? Certainly doesn't appear to be. It looks like it's just it's just a liquidity grab before they took it down, right? And they being software, right? So that's who trades, right? That's who we trade against, right? So this move here, what are they doing there? Well, again, in hindsight, right? It's always easy, right? Say that sure looks like that was a grab of liquidity because how many stops do you think were up there? A boatload. We can all surmise that, and there is some poor bastard who bought that. Right? Just breakout traders. The saddest lot. Okay, so then this is all kind of, all right, well, wait a minute. Well, if we're done down here, do I have an impulse here? Well, right off the bat, you get something kind of funky here. So, but note here, we get this big ripping B here, just like we got this as a candidate for a B here where there's, you can anticipate, right? There's market manipulation in here galore, right? Probably order block right here, right? So, or that's how we call it, right? So it's different interpretation, right? Drop, base, drop, right? You can think of it that way. That's how we call an order block. Or you could just think of it as demand, or supply. Don't get to new lows here, and then we back the other direction. So this gets blown out. Okay, 1, possibly A, B, C into the 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 skinny 2. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 3. It's a little tricky in there. It's a little tight, right? So I'm on a daily. Even if you go to a 4, it's not all that much better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C, right? Or it would almost doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 3. 4. 1, 2, 3 overlap, right? So you got to do it as some sort of a diag. It's kind of squishy and it's kind of ugly. There are places here where we've got a slight overlap here. So is it a diag? Maybe 5, 3, 5, 3, 5. It's a little sloppy, right, for the Elliottician in here. You've got overlap galore here, which is why this is one to be watching next week, right? When all this gamma exposure gets released here and we have the potential for the markets to get kind of free up to move. Well, which way are we going? I mean, it's hard to argue with the trend, right? Jesus Christ. I mean, talk about well, when is this? November? Wow. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? So clearly an uptrend. But how are we connecting this? It's going to be, I don't have any answers here. I'm just looking at this going, boy, these are going to be telling. So hopefully by the time we get to next Friday, well, I doubt Bitcoin and ETH will have moved at all, which I say that sometimes when I say it out loud, it virtually guarantees we'll have movement. So I'm going to say it out loud with the hope that it actually leads to movement. But if I had to bet, we're not going to be too far from this. I'd love to be wrong there. Oh shit! Now I lost my place here. This very telling. I'd keep an eye on those three. Right? If you trade traditionals, right? I mean, I know we have a lot that are crypto only. Or that's where their focus is, right? So if you're trading trads, well, think of it this way: risk. Are we going to be risk on, risk off? Think of it that way, right? Because Bitcoin will be caught up in that. If it's risk off, Bitcoin's going down. If it's risk on, can we get out of the hole here? No correlation. It flickers every now and then. We get a little sign of risk on, bringing Bitcoin with it, and then it kind of fades, and we're just stuck in that range. So the general consensus here of this video is there's not a lot certainly not much to talk about in crypto. I mean, if we're talking majors, there's probably some bullshit coin that's moving. But where you can make money, right? I mean, if you're making money, you're making money, right? But I don't know of any majors. And looming over all of crypto is it's all that FTX crypto going to get dumped on the market. That seems to be the impression. So hopefully we'll have whales stepping in. It remains to be seen. So there's a lot of hurry up and wait this week, right? To see what we do here, right? Can we go take out these highs in Google, right? I mean, the alternate here is if we're not corrective here, and this is, impulse, right? Finishes here. We can argue about, I shouldn't say it that way. We can differ on the count here as to how we get there. But I think it seems less likely to interpret this as corrective, right? Just looking at it. Big down, right? So you think of it this way. Wait, are we just doing a big V? Right? Kind of looks like we might be. All right, we're on our way. Right? So there's going to be some supply up here, right? Well, last time we got here, if we're going to get up there here, we're going to just blow right through it. Well, possibly. But where's the opportunity, right? If this thing is, if we're coming up here, right, we can get if there's a correction of any type, where it's Fed driven or whatever causes it, whoa. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, you're going to actually give me a nice impulse here, correct it in 3, and then off we go. Wow, that's a big one. So Magnificent 7 always wants to keep an eye on. So with that, I guess I'm going to call it. Actually, I might make it out of here with a short video. It's rare for me. There's just very little to talk about, right? And then there's all of the changes that are going to happen next week as all this volatility expires and we get out through triple witching, and we'll see what's happening with risk next week. Okay, guys, that's all I got for you today. Have a good weekend. I'm back Wednesday. Live streams have been going pretty well, right? So some great content from members. And hopefully those of you, we've had a lot of members come from it. So it's obviously it's working well, right? People see it and say, oh, okay, I can learn something here. So join us on Wednesdays. That's free for all to participate, right? And we record them and post them on this channel. All right, guys, have a good weekend. We'll catch you next week.